That's $100,000 a year, no taxes, and no spending any of it. It would take you 10,000 years to become a billionaire. So now when you think about how many billionaires we now have in America, it starts to make you go, why the are these people making the rules for us? Why are they passing the laws? Why are they opposing minimum wage being raised to more? Minimum wage is currently what, $300 a week? Our federal minimum wage, $300 a week.
What, $750?
$725.
Still not.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. No notes needed. I'm sure we've all experienced at least one conversation like this with the people we love and care about in the past. But what shouldn't be lost on you, other than the fact that people can change, is that, well, the hyper-partisanship created by our political system, it's not just a flaw, but rather a feature of how the powerful, aka those with money, continue to stay in power, regardless of which party is holding office.
We can live on that.
No. But the billionaires, a number that we cannot even conceive having that much, are electing, they're putting the politicians in place that will tell us that we shouldn't raise minimum wage. And they will convince us that that's a smart argument.
Look, we know that pointing out a fact like the massive increase in wealth inequality can only go so far with someone who still believes in the myth of meritocracy and the sham American dream. But what it can do is plant the seeds for self-reflection that could open up the dialogue even more in the future, even if they're one of the many members of, well, a cult, a MAGA cult.
They would rather divide us sideways between brown, black, etc., than divide it so you don't catch that the real divide is this way. That the real divide is why have the ultra wealthy gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? Why is that happening? Why does the head of Amazon make 6,000 times what his average worker makes? Instead of us addressing those issues, that why these people are not, these people in the middle and the bottom, why aren't they able to survive properly? Well, we don't want to pay attention to this, so we create this division. That's what it is. It's propaganda.
Personally, I've had conversations. You want to believe that pointing to wage stagnation, skyrocketing rent will connect the dots, but sometimes it doesn't. What I found helpful is to stay grounded, ask questions instead of preaching, keep my own emotions in check. You know, there's no guarantee it'll work, but that empathy, that listening, it is how change sometimes begins, even in the most unexpected places.
The bottom 60 to 80% of Americans have not seen a real wage increase in 45 years. People are doing a little bit better than they did 45 years ago, but the people at the top are doing wonderfully well. Wealth has moved, has been siphoned off, and it's because the economy is rigged. I mean, I hate to say it. This is the one thing that I agree with Donald Trump about. The economy is rigged, but it's rigged against working class people. Wealth and income are really almost at a record level, moving to the top. And it is no accident. This is because of huge amounts of money spent in politics by big corporations and the wealthy.
Robert Reich is right. The economy is rigged. That's not hyperbole, it's reality. And the rigging tilted in favor of the ultra-rich. Yet time and again, many Republican voters support policies that actively undermine their own well-being. We're talking about cuts to programs like SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare, public broadcasting, the very safety nets so many working families depend on.
10% of the work that we do is news. The rest of it is programming around science and history and so forth. A big part of what we do is for kids. We do 8 hours of kids programming a day on most of our stations. And when you consider the fact that 50% of children in this country do not attend formal pre-K, 50%. And the whole goal when Sesame Street was created, when Mr. Rogers first began looking into a camera and telling children that they are perfect just the way they are, that was really the beginning of an effort to try to make sure that kids that do not have access to a wide range of resources and possibilities would have that through their public television stations.
It's a paradox that keeps the cycle going, a party that sells culture war distractions while quietly gutting the programs that actually put food on the table or keep grandma in her home.
Jeffrey Epstein was an extremely wealthy guy who hung out with some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in our country and the world, including Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, multiple billionaires, and Donald Trump. And this I also know. During his presidential campaign, Donald Trump said very clearly that he would release the Epstein files. My response, Mr. President, do it. Because hiding whatever he's hiding with the Epstein files is not the first time, to say the least, that he has lied to the American people. He promised that his big, beautiful bill wouldn't touch Medicaid. Instead, the bill is going to take away Medicaid from 17 million Americans. Why is he slashing Medicaid? So we can give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1% and $900 billion in tax breaks to the corporate world. In other words, he is making his very rich friends much richer while making life harder for working families. But that is not all. Trump is attacking every single day the very foundations of American democracy. He is usurping the responsibilities of Congress and is illegally refusing to allocate the money that Congress appropriated for education, housing, and other basic needs. He is ignoring court decisions that he doesn't like and attacking universities who are teaching courses he doesn't like. He's going after law firms that represented clients he doesn't like. Further, he doesn't like a free press, and he doesn't want criticism. He has sued ABC, Meta, the Wall Street Journal, and CBS, and he has cut funding for PBS and NPR. Enough is enough. Too many Americans have fought and died to defend freedom and democracy, to defend the First Amendment and the right to dissent. That is what makes America great. Whether Donald Trump likes it or not, we are and will remain a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, not a country run by a bunch of billionaire oligarchs who want to move this country to an authoritarian society.
You know, the Epstein case isn't just a political scandal, it's a class story. One where billionaires and elites operated in the shadows with near impunity. And if you truly care about justice for the victims, then you understand that Donald Trump, a man who lived in those same circles and benefited from the same protections, is not going to be the one to deliver that justice. That takes real accountability, not just for Epstein, but for the system that enabled him. If you're watching this, hoping Trump will finally bring down the elite, ask yourself, when has he ever not protected them, especially when he's one of them?